The last resort. The holographic display cast an eerie red glow across the faces of Earth's Joint Military Command. Defeat was written in every grim expression around the table as they watched another human colony fall to the Nexus Coalition's forces. General Zhang's weathered face remained stoic, but his hands gripped the edge of the table until his knuckles turned white. Titan base has fallen, the AI's clinical voice announced. Estimated civilian casualties, 15,000. Military losses, complete. Admiral Hassan slammed his fist on the table. That's the third colony this month. Their quantum phase weapons cut through our best shields like they don't exist. We're running out of options. And soldiers, Colonel Rodriguez added quietly. Recruitment is down 60%. No one wants to sign up for what they're calling a suicide mission. The room fell into a heavy silence, broken only by the soft hum of holographic projectors cycling through images of devastation. The Nexus Coalition, a merger of 3 aggressive alien species, had emerged from deep space 18 months ago. Their technology was centuries ahead of humanity's, their tactics ruthless, and their goal simple: the complete subjugation of Earth and its colonies. In the back of the room, Dr. Sarah Chen shifted uncomfortably in her seat. As the lead xenobiologist for the military's Special Projects Division, she wasn't usually invited to these high-level strategic meetings, but she had requested this audience, and her reputation had earned her at least this chance. "General Zhang," she said, her voice cutting through the defeatist atmosphere. "I have a proposal." The general's eyes fixed on her with laser focus. "Proceed, Doctor." Sarah stood, her tablet connecting to the room's holographic system. The images of destruction were replaced by something unexpected: footage of bears in combat training scenarios. For the past decade, my team has been working on Project Ursa. Initially, it was meant to be a conservation effort, studying ways to enhance endangered bear species to help them survive in rapidly changing environments. But we discovered something extraordinary. She gestured, and the hologram showed brain scans of various bears. Using a combination of genetic engineering and neural interface technology, we found we could dramatically enhance Ursine intelligence while maintaining their natural instincts and physical capabilities. But here's the key: we could also establish a profound psychological bond between the bears and specific human handlers. The room had grown perfectly still. Even the most skeptical officers were leaning forward now. The Nexus Coalition has demonstrated their technological superiority at every turn, Sarah continued. But they have one critical weakness: they rely entirely on technology. Their soldiers are essentially operators of advanced weapon systems. They've forgotten what it means to face pure, primal combat fury. She switched to footage of her most successful subject: a massive grizzly bear executing complex tactical maneuvers while wearing what looked like lightweight armor. This is Magnus. He can understand complex commands, use basic tools, and coordinate with other enhanced bears. His strength is 4 times that of a normal grizzly, his reaction speed is doubled, and his intelligence approaches that of a human child. But most importantly, he retains all his predatory instincts and natural weapons. Admiral Hassan's eyebrows shot up. "Are you suggesting we send bears to fight our war, Doctor?" "No, Admiral. I'm suggesting we send in bears as part of an integrated combat strategy. The Nexus Coalition has never encountered Earth's apex predators. They've dismissed our planet as primitive, our wildlife as irrelevant. They expect machines and guns. They don't expect tooth and claw enhanced by human ingenuity." General Zhang studied the footage silently for a long moment. "How many enhanced bears do you have?" "Currently, just 12. But we've perfected the process. With proper funding and facilities, we could enhance and train hundreds within 6 months." "The risks?" Colonel Rodriguez began, but Sarah cut him off. "The risks of doing nothing are greater. We're losing this war. The Nexus Coalition wants to turn humanity into a servant race. They see us as primitive, weak, unworthy of equality. Maybe it's time we showed them just how primitive we can be. General Zhang stood slowly, his eyes still fixed on the image of Magnus executing a perfect flanking maneuver. Dr. Chen, how quickly can you prepare a demonstration? Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Magnus and his handler can be ready tomorrow morning. Do it, Zhang ordered. If this works, if this actually works, it will work, Sarah assured him. The Nexus Coalition thinks they know what humanity is capable of. They're about to learn that Earth's weapons aren't limited to what we can build in factories. Sometimes, the most effective weapons are the ones nature spent millions of years perfecting. As the meeting adjourned, Sarah stayed behind, watching the footage of Magnus. In the hologram, the massive bear moved with a deadly grace that still took her breath away. The Nexus Coalition had awakened humanity's ingenuity, our desperate drive to survive. Now they would face the consequences of underestimating not just humanity, but the apex predators we called allies. Tomorrow would mark the beginning of a new phase in the war. And if Sarah was right, the enemy was about to learn why Earth's wildlife commanded respect across thousands of ecosystems. They were about to learn why bears had dominated their environments for millions of years. They were about to learn fear. Project Ursa, the underground facility, hummed with anticipation. Through reinforced observation windows, Earth's military leadership watched as Captain James Rivera entered the training arena. He wore no powered armor, carried no weapons, just a simple combat uniform and a neural interface band across his forehead. Watch carefully, Dr. Chen instructed from her position at the control panel. The neural link between handler and bear is the key to everything. A massive door slid open at the far end of the arena. Magnus emerged, his enhanced form drawing gasps from several observers. The grizzly bear stood 12 feet tall on his hind legs, his natural muscle mass augmented by careful genetic engineering. Lightweight graphene armor covered his vital areas. And his eyes, now enhanced with infrared capability, gleamed with unmistakable intelligence. Magnus, come, Rivera called softly. The bear padded forward, moving with a fluid grace that seemed impossible for a creature of his size. When he reached Rivera, he lowered his head, allowing the captain to place a hand on his broad forehead. The neural interface bands on both human and bear pulsed with a soft blue light. The bond goes beyond simple commands, Sarah explained. Through the neural interface, they share a limited emotional and sensory connection. Magnus understands Rivera's intentions intuitively, and Rivera can sense Magnus's state of mind. They function as a single combat unit. General Zhang leaned forward. Show us. Sarah nodded to Rivera. The captain squared his shoulders. Combat demonstration alpha, he commanded. Multiple hostiles. Urban environment. The arena's holographic systems activated, transforming the space into a ruined cityscape. Robotic combat drones, designed to simulate Nexus Coalition troops, emerged from various positions. They were loaded with live ammunition. This was no simple demonstration. Begin, Rivera ordered. Magnus moved like lightning. One moment he was standing calmly beside Rivera. The next he was tearing through the first drone like it was made of paper. The bear's enhanced muscles allowed him to leap 30 feet horizontally, crashing through a concrete barrier to reach another group of drones. Notice how he prioritizes targets, Sarah pointed out. That's Rivera's tactical training working through their bond. But the method of attack, that's all natural bear instinct. The demonstration continued for 15 intense minutes. Magnus demonstrated not just raw power, but sophisticated tactical awareness. He used cover, executed flanking maneuvers, and even employed basic tools, at one point using a fallen drone as a makeshift projectile to disable a sniper position. When it was over, the arena was littered with destroyed drones. Magnus returned to Rivera's side, his breathing barely elevated. The captain reached up to scratch behind the bear's ears, a strikingly normal gesture between the unusual partners. Impressive, Admiral Hassan admitted. But how will they fare against real Nexus troops? Their energy weapons are primarily designed to defeat our technology, Sarah interrupted. She gestured, and a final drone emerged, this one equipped with a captured Nexus weapon. Magnus, defensive position. The energy beam struck Magnus's armor and dispersed. The bear didn't even flinch. We discovered something interesting, Sarah explained. The Nexus Coalition designed their weapons to defeat our materials and energy shields, but the natural structure of bear fur, combined with their thick hide and our graphene armor, creates a unique dispersal effect. Their weapons are far less effective against organic targets than mechanical ones. Colonel Rodriguez shook his head in amazement. They designed their whole arsenal to fight machines. Because they never imagined we'd send in bears, Sarah finished. The Nexus Coalition prides itself on technological superiority. They'd forgotten that nature spent millions of years perfecting killing machines. We just helped level the playing field. General Zhang studied Magnus thoughtfully. How soon can we deploy? The first combat unit, 6 bears and their handlers, can be ready in 2 weeks. We focused on grizzlies for the initial phase, but we're already seeing promising results with other species. Polar bears for Arctic warfare, black bears for forest operations, and sun bears for urban combat. And they're all this intelligent. Sarah smiled. Magnus was our first success, but each bear in the program has shown remarkable cognitive development. They understand complex tactics, can coordinate with human troops, and most importantly, they're completely loyal to their handlers. The neural bond works both ways. The bears understand they're fighting to protect their human partners and Earth itself. What about breeding? Hassan asked. Can these enhancements be passed on? No, Sarah said firmly. That was one of our primary safety protocols. Each enhanced bear is sterile, and the genetic modifications can only be accomplished in our laboratories. We're not creating a new species, we're developing strategic assets. General Zhang turned to his staff. Prepare deployment orders for the Proxima Centauri front. If Dr. Chen's bears can do what she claims, that's where we'll need them most. As the military leadership filed out, Sarah stayed behind with Rivera and Magnus. The captain was checking his partner for any signs of strain from the demonstration, but the bear seemed perfectly content, rumbling softly as Rivera examined him. They still don't quite believe it, Rivera said quietly. Sarah watched Magnus, remembering the day they'd first activated his neural enhancements, the moment those intelligent eyes had truly opened. They will, she replied. The Nexus Coalition is about to learn that Earth's children come in many forms, and some of them have claws. Magnus lifted his massive head, as if sensing the shift in conversation. His eyes, holding an intelligence that still amazed Sarah, fixed on the horizon only he could see. Something primordial stirred in that gaze. Nature's perfect predator, enhanced by human science, but never tamed, never truly domesticated. The war was about to change, and the bears would lead the way. First contact, first blood. The dropship shuddered as it entered New Eden's atmosphere. Inside the reinforced cargo bay, Captain Rivera felt Magnus's anticipation through their neural link. The massive bear wasn't alone. 5 other enhanced Ursines and their handlers filled the bay, each pair linked and ready for humanity's boldest gambit yet. 2 minutes to drop zone. The pilot's voice crackled over the comm. Nexus forces have no idea we're coming. Their orbital sensors are focused on conventional military signatures. Sarah Chen's voice joined the channel from Earth Command. Remember, this is our one chance at surprise. The Nexus Coalition has never seen our bears in combat. Once they know what we can do, they'll adapt. Make it count. Rivera placed his hand on Magnus's armor, feeling the bear's steady heartbeat. Around him, the other handlers did the same with their partners. Each bear was a strategic asset, but these moments before battle revealed the deeper truth. They were family. Drop zone hot, the pilot called. Good hunting. The bay doors opened, revealing the burning city below. New Eden had been a thriving colony just days ago, before the Nexus Coalition arrived with their quantum phase weapons and mechanized troops. Now it was a battleground, and humanity was about to change the rules of engagement. Project Ursa, deploy. Rivera commanded. 6 enhanced bears leaped from the dropship, their handlers secured to their armor with magnetic links. They fell like living missiles toward the enemy lines, the bears' enhanced vision identifying targets even as they descended. Magnus hit the ground first, absorbing the impact with enhanced muscles and reinforced bones. The nearest Nexus patrol, tall insectoid beings in powered armor, froze in visible confusion. Their sensors, calibrated to detect human troops and vehicles, barely registered the organic threat before them. That moment of hesitation was fatal. Magnus moved with terrifying speed, covering 30 meters in a single bound. His massive paws, enhanced with monomolecular cutting edges, tore through the alien armor like tissue paper. The Nexus soldiers tried to bring their energy weapons to bear, but the bears were too close, too fast, too unlike anything they trained to fight. Command, this is Rivera, he transmitted, even as Magnus decimated a second patrol. First contact successful. Their weapons are ineffective at close range, just as Dr. Chen predicted. The natural properties of bear fur combined with our armor are dispersing their energy beams. Around him, the other bears were wreaking havoc on the Nexus lines. Sergeant Wu's black bear, Shadow, had already infiltrated an enemy command post, using her enhanced stealth capabilities to devastating effect. Lieutenant Jones's polar bear, Arctic, was systematically destroying the Coalition's heavy weapons emplacements, his white fur making him nearly invisible against the colony's snow-covered mountains. The Nexus troops began to fall back, their usual precision giving way to chaos. Their tactical networks were flooding with impossible data, massive biological entities moving faster than their targeting systems could track, natural weapons enhanced by human technology tearing through their best defenses. They're breaking. Colonel Rodriguez's voice cut through the comm channel. All conventional forces advance. The bears have thrown their lines into chaos. Press the advantage. Rivera felt a surge of fierce joy through his neural link with Magnus. The bear understood that they were winning, that their pack was driving back the invaders. It was a primal satisfaction deeper than any tactical victory. The massive Nexus war machine emerged from behind a fallen building, its weapons ports glowing with charged energy. Magnus didn't wait for Rivera's command. Their neural link made them one mind in combat. The bear charged, using debris as cover, closing the distance before the machine could target them effectively. Magnus's enhanced claws found weak points in the machine's armor that Nexus engineers had never thought to protect. Who would expect a bear to understand the vulnerable junction points of advanced alien technology? But Magnus wasn't just a bear anymore. He was a fusion of natural predatory instinct and human tactical knowledge. The war machine fell, and in its destruction, the Nexus Coalition learned fear. Command, this is Captain Rivera. New Eden's Central District is secure. Project Ursa casualties, 0. Enemy forces are in full retreat. They don't know how to fight bears. Sarah Chen's voice was thick with emotion when she responded. Excellent work, Captain. All units report similar success across the combat zone. The Nexus Coalition is pulling their forces back to orbit. New Eden is secured. Rivera watched as Magnus systematically checked the battlefield, making sure no threats remained. The bears' movements were still purely predator, but tempered now with military precision. Around them, the other bears and their handlers were regrouping, forming a perimeter with instinctive efficiency. Dr. Chen, Rivera said quietly, I don't think they'll underestimate Earth's wildlife anymore. No, she agreed, but that's not what matters. What matters is they've finally learned what we've known all along. Humanity's strength isn't in our technology. It's in our ability to forge bonds, to take nature's perfect designs and enhance them without destroying what makes them special. Magnus raised his head and roared, a sound that echoed through New Eden's streets. One by one, the other bears joined in, their voices carrying a message that needed no translation. Earth's children had come to war, and they would not be denied. The Nexus Coalition had ruled space through technological superiority, but they were about to learn that technology alone wasn't enough. Not when it faced the combined might of human ingenuity and nature's most perfect predators. The bears had drawn first blood, and this was only the beginning. The Bears of War. 6 months after the Battle of New Eden, Dr. Sarah Chen stood in Project Ursa's expanded facility, watching dozens of bears and their handlers train in specialized combat scenarios. What had started with 12 enhanced bears had grown into a force that was changing the face of interstellar warfare. The Nexus Coalition has lost 37 major engagements since we deployed the bears, General Zhang reported, reviewing holographic battle data. Their entire military doctrine is falling apart trying to counter what they call our biological weapons program. Sarah smiled as she watched a squad of sun bears practicing urban infiltration. The smallest of Earth's bears had proven to be natural sappers, their enhanced intelligence and agility making them perfect for sophisticated demolition work. Their handler team, led by Lieutenant Maya Patel, had already destroyed 3 Nexus planetary defense installations. They still don't understand what they're really fighting, Sarah observed. They keep trying to develop countermeasures based on pure technology. But you can't program a defense against millions of years of evolutionary perfection. A massive form emerged from the Arctic training chamber. Frost, the largest enhanced polar bear in the program. His handler, Captain Alina Volkov, walked beside him, their neural link pulsing steady and strong. Frost's latest mission had eliminated an entire Nexus Coalition base on Europa, the bear's enhanced physiology adapting perfectly to the moon's brutal environment. "Show me the latest combat data," Sarah requested. The holographic display shifted, showing footage from various battlefronts. A team of black bears moving silently through alien forests, their enhanced stealth capabilities making them virtually undetectable. Grizzlies working in coordinated pairs to bring down Nexus heavy armor. Polar bears swimming through the liquid methane seas of Titan, hunting enemy submarines. Each species has found its niche, Sarah explained. The neural link allows them to understand complex military objectives, but their natural instincts tell them how best to achieve them. We're not commanding them. We're partnering with them. The facility's main doors opened, admitting Magnus and Rivera, returning from another successful mission. The original bear handler pair had become legendary among both human and Nexus forces. Their neural link was the strongest ever recorded, allowing them to coordinate with almost supernatural precision. "Sierra Colony is secure," Rivera reported, as Magnus padded to the recovery area. The Nexus forces tried their new anti-organic weapon system. It failed spectacularly. Sarah wasn't surprised. They still think this is about biology versus technology. They don't understand that we've created something entirely new, a perfect fusion of natural ability and human innovation. The neural link bands on all the bears in the facility pulsed softly, a network of shared consciousness that connected each bear not only to their handler but to a greater purpose. Through those links, the bears understood what they were fighting for, not just their individual handlers, but Earth itself and every colony world where humans sought to make a home among the stars. "We're deploying the first specialist units next week," General Zhang announced. Polar bear teams to secure the ice mines on Ganymede. Sun bears to infiltrate their manufacturing centers on Proxima B. Black bears for deep forest operations on New Terra. Sarah watched as Magnus received his post-mission checkup. The massive bear surprisingly gentle with the medical staff. "How are they taking the losses?" she asked quietly. Zhang's expression softened slightly. "Better than expected. When Handler Chen fell on Titan, we worried her bear would become unstable. Instead, Aurora adopted a new handler and returned to combat within weeks. They understand sacrifice, Dr. Chen. They understand war." A young sun bear named Echo demonstrated an advanced demolition sequence, carefully manipulating plasma charges with enhanced paws that could handle delicate equipment with surprising precision. Her handler, a combat engineer named Rodriguez, guided her through their neural link, sharing his explosive expertise with his Ursine partner. The Nexus Coalition thought they could defeat us through superior technology, Sarah said, watching Echo work. They never considered that Earth's greatest technology isn't our machines. It's our ability to form bonds, to take the raw potential of nature and elevate it without destroying what makes it special. The facility hummed with activity as more bears and handlers prepared for deployment. Each pair moved with perfect coordination, their neural links creating partnerships that transcended species. The bears understood tactics, strategy, and objective, while maintaining the instincts and natural weapons that made them Earth's perfect predators. Next week's offensive will be our largest yet, Zhang noted. Over 200 enhanced bears deploying simultaneously across 3 star systems. The Coalition's orbital defense networks won't know what hit them. Sarah watched as Magnus finally settled down to rest, Rivera sitting beside his massive partner. Through their neural link, she knew they were sharing not just thoughts, but a deep, unshakable trust. That was humanity's true secret weapon, not the genetic enhancements or the neural technology, but our capacity to forge connections that turned mere animals into family, mere soldiers into brothers in arms. They wanted a war of technology, Sarah said softly. Instead, they got a war of nature enhanced by human ingenuity. And nature, General, has been perfecting the art of war since the first predator caught its prey. Around them, the bears of war prepared for their next battles, each one carrying a piece of Earth's wild heart into the stars. The Nexus Coalition had awakened something they couldn't understand, the combined might of human science and natural fury, bound together by bonds stronger than any technology. And the bears were winning. Victory's roar. The space around Proxima Centauri blazed with weapons fire. The Nexus Coalition's last major fleet had gathered here, a desperate concentration of force meant to halt humanity's advance. Their quantum phase weapons lit up the void, their energy shields flickering like artificial auroras. But they weren't prepared for what emerged from the human fleet's dropships. All Project Ursa units, deploy. Sarah Chen's voice rang through the command channel. From her position on the flagship, she watched as hundreds of enhanced bears and their handlers launched toward the Nexus Coalition's massive orbital platforms. Each bear wore specialized void armor, their enhanced bodies adapted for space combat through months of careful preparation. Magnus and Rivera led the assault, the veteran pair's neural link burning bright and strong. Behind them came waves of specialized units, polar bears for external hull combat, sun bears for internal sabotage, black bears for stealth infiltration. Each pair moved with perfect coordination, their neural links allowing them to operate in the zero-gravity environment as naturally as they did planetside. "They're still trying to target our ships," Admiral Hassan reported, watching the Nexus fleet's energy weapons splash harmlessly against the human fleet's defenses. They haven't adapted their targeting systems for organic void signatures. The first wave of bears reached the nearest orbital platform. Magnus crashed through an external defense turret, his enhanced claws finding purchase in the alien metal. Around him, other bears were tearing into the platform's outer hull, their void armor protecting them from the vacuum while their natural weapons, enhanced by human technology, proved devastatingly effective against structures designed to repel conventional weapons. Inside the Nexus Command Center, panic spread as reports flooded in. Their sensors, calibrated for ships and missiles, could barely track the bears. Energy weapons designed to penetrate shields proved almost useless against the combination of natural fur and advanced armor. And most critically, they had no defense against the sheer terrifying reality of Earth's apex predators bringing their ancient hunting skills to space warfare. "Multiple hull breaches detected," Sarah announced, monitoring the battle through integrated feeds. "Sun Bear teams are inside 3 platforms. Black Bear infiltrators have reached their central reactor complex." Through his neural link with Magnus, Rivera coordinated the assault. The bears moved with fluid grace through zero gravity, using their enhanced strength to propel themselves between structures. Their natural predatory instincts, augmented by human tactical knowledge, made them devastating void warriors. A massive Nexus dreadnought moved to intercept the human fleet. Its weapon ports glowed with charged energy, and then went dark as a team of polar bears, led by Captain Volkov and Frost, destroyed its primary power conduits. The massive ship began to drift, its crew helpless against the bears now moving through its corridors. "Their fleet formation is breaking," General Zhang reported. "They're trying to retreat, but the bears are inside their navigation systems. They're trapped." Sarah watched as Magnus and Rivera led a final assault on the Nexus command platform. The bears' enhanced muscles propelled them through a field of debris, dodging desperate defensive fire. Other bears followed in their wake, a coordinated attack that demonstrated just how far Project Ursa had come from its early days. Through the neural network that connected all bear handler pairs, Sarah felt the rising tide of victory. The bears understood they were making history, that they were winning not just a battle but a war that would determine humanity's future among the stars. The Nexus command platform's defenses fell. Magnus tore through the final barrier, leading a wave of bears into the heart of enemy territory. Inside, the Coalition's leadership faced their worst nightmare. Earth's perfect predators, enhanced by human science, but never tamed, bringing nature's fury to the sterile halls of their technological fortress. Nexus Command is broadcasting a surrender signal, Admiral Hassan announced, his voice tight with emotion. They're requesting immediate cessation of hostilities. The bears held their positions, their neural links humming with contained energy. Through those links, Sarah felt their collective understanding. This wasn't just about victory, but about securing a future where humanity and Earth's other children could find their place among the stars. "This is Dr. Sarah Chen to all Project Ursa units," she transmitted. "Stand down but maintain position. The war is over." Magnus lifted his massive head and roared into the void of space. The sound carried through the neural network, touching every bear and handler in the fleet. One by one, other bears joined in, their voices carrying a message that needed no translation. Earth had won, and its victory had come not through superior technology, but through the combination of natural strength and human ingenuity. In the aftermath, as diplomatic channels opened and peace terms were discussed, Sarah found Rivera and Magnus in the flagship's recovery bay. The bear's void armor bore the scars of combat, but his eyes were clear and intelligent as ever. Through their neural link, handler and bear shared not just the triumph of victory, but a deeper satisfaction. They had proven that humanity's greatest strength lay not in our machines, but in our ability to forge bonds that transcended species. The Nexus Coalition's surrender terms include a formal recognition of enhanced bears as sentient combatants, General Zhang reported, joining them. "They want guarantees that we won't expand the program further. They're afraid of what other Earth species we might enhance." Sarah smiled, watching Magnus gently bump his head against Rivera's shoulder, a gesture of affection that no amount of enhancement could manufacture. "They still don't understand," she said softly. "This was never about creating weapons. It was about recognizing that Earth's children all have a role to play in our journey to the stars." Around them, bears and handlers rested together, their neural links pulsing with shared contentment. They had won their war not through overwhelming force or technological superiority, but through the unique combination of natural power and human innovation. The bears had brought Earth's ancient strength to the stars, and in doing so, had secured humanity's place in the cosmos. The age of the bears had begun.